Oh, they were from North Africa and were Sephardic. And like the Torah synagogue was founded by Sephardic Jews, and that's the oldest synagogue in the world.
Once it gets warm, I have to official charge. I can't get over the winter cold in July.
Most people speak on Dubrovnik in Croatia.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Another new month, the month of Yar. Another Nigun. This Nigun sort of reflects to me a little bit about what Yar, our sages tell us that Yar is actually an acronym for Ani Adonai Rofecha, that I am God, your healer. And when I hear this Nigun, I can't help but feel uplifted, and I hope that you do too, even as we join together and learn to sing it.
Some you'll know already, and some might be a little bit new.
It's my pleasure to invite Chandel to come and light the Shabbos candles for us, the blessing for which can be found on page 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As that brightness reminds
you to rise in body or spirit as we turn to page 5 for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzav lanu. Shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon, inchilanu, zikaron le'maseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tefillah le'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat
You may be seated, even as we welcome these celestial angels that join us on Shabbat on page 24 with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem lishalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni lishalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem lishalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And just as we take time to welcome these celestial angels, we also take a little bit of time to welcome the angels in the seats next to us. So take a moment, say Shabbat Shalom to someone sitting around you, or perhaps even across the room. You say Shabbat Shalom. Chatzi Kaddish can be found on page 26.
Yitgadol v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivarach yirutei v'yamlik malchutei, v'chai v'chol
page 31. Praise to you, Adonai God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season lie. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of tide and time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven stands to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamayim Aradim. At the bottom of page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and sentiment.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love?
Than this holiest of your works in the living language that gives it form.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
You may be seated.
Please join me as we chant together on page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'haynu ha'devarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinantam levavecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shofbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hoseiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
On the bottom of page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world that is far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory, the earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered, and at Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our great glory to bear witness to our God. alive in dark ages, your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the seas.
This song on page 40.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norate hilot osef ele. Norate hilot osef ele. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeh-aya lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'eli, arvei ameru. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fad Adonai et Yaakov, u'ge'alo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Gai Yisrael.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with eternity in our thoughts and hope in our hearts, that we might lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkah shalom aleinu, ve'ahol Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Let there be love.
rise once more in body or spirit on page 46 or on the back.
Adonai, Simchatai Kita, Ufia Kita Hivatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Makol, V'Zocher Hase'alot V'Imahot, U'Mevir L'Olim V'Bneihem, L'man Shemo Yahweh, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Elam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Hara V'Moshiach, Mori Atah, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim B'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mechayeh Emunato L'Shelei Afar, Michamocha B'Gevurot, U'Midomela, Melech Memid U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman atah l'Achayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. We read together on page 59. At the top of the page. God of goodness, we give thanks that we give life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our life within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us, for all these and more offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, Atah Shimcha, U'Kam Ha'em V'Hodot.
We continue with our prayer for peace on page 60. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata
verse of Shabbat can be found on page 253. Sometimes I think about the infinite decay of matter. So even though it gets infinitely smaller, these particles break down more and more and more, it's never actually going to leave us. And the same is true of sound. So as we take a few moments for our own silent meditation, and you can use the words you find in the book or those you find inscribed upon your hearts, I encourage you to really listen. Because there's some particle of a particle of a particle of a sound wave from the very beginning just bouncing around out there. And maybe you'll hear it. This week, we're blessed with a double portion, Parshat Achrei Mot Kedoshim. Double the Torah, double the fun, double the opportunity for meeting making, and that means I get to speak twice as long. Our first section this week, Parshat Achrei Mot, deals with this timeless question of how we return to relationship when we feel that we've been wronged, especially when we feel that we're not fully healed. Parshat Achrei Mot begins with God speaking to Moses after the death of Nadab and Abihu, Aaron's sons, who died when they drew too close to God's presence. They offered a strange fire that had not been enjoined to them, and so the Holy One sent forth flames that consumed them. Even though God spoke directly to Aaron directly following this trauma, in Parshat Shmini 2 weeks ago, by framing Achrei Mot with this reminder, we feel the ongoing rawness of Aaron's loss. God does not speak directly to Aaron in this week's Parsha, rather electing to convey instructions through Moses. These instructions, which will eventually coalesce into a proto-Yom Kippur observance, provide us with a framework for not only how we might repair the breach in our national relationship with God, but also perhaps some of those elemental properties of teshuvah in the context of our interpersonal relationships as well. First and foremost, God tells Moses that Aaron should not approach the Holy of Holies at will. After ruptures in relationships, we should not assume an open door policy. Rather, God prescribes a specific time and a specific methodology through which Aaron and the people might again engage with God. When Aaron is to enter the shrine, he is required to prepare accordingly. After bathing, he is to dress in sacral linen, and only then can he make expiation for himself and his household by offering one of his own bulls as a sacrifice. So too, when we make amends, we must do the necessary preparations. We must clean ourselves of the dirt and grime and grudges that we've accumulated along the way, and be enrobed in pure intentions. The offerings we make to those we wish to re-enter into relationship with must come from ourselves and for the sole sake of that proximity, without any ulterior motive beyond our desire to make a repair. The next stage of the process for Aaron and for us is to make a full and honest accounting of how we have missed the mark. And only then, after meticulous preparation, multiple sacrifices, and radical honesty, only then can we have made the necessary atonement to return to relationship. But even still, it is imperative that we take the time to let it rest. After all the rituals have been completed and cleaned up, everything stops. There is time allotted specifically for reflection, a Shabbat Shabbaton. It is a law for all time that we might build in time in our lives for these processes of making atonement and for the rest that comes thereafter. The rest of Parshat Achrei Mot provides an account of the particular practices that the people of Israel are responsible for, punctuated with this warning that should we allow the land to become defiled, God promises that that land will surely spew us out, and just like those who came before us. This warning feels especially clear and poignant this week as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the establishment of the State of Israel. Now, perhaps more than ever, it behooves us to interrogate how the modern state has failed to realize the vision of its founders, as well as the long festering, growing rift between the state and North American Jewry. And perhaps it is time for us to embark on these very same processes of redemptive, restorative reconciliation before it's too late. The second part of our double portion, Parshat Kedoshim, begins by calling us into holy relationship. It does so with these words, Kedoshim Tihiyu. Not only does the Torah remind us that we are, or at least we can be holy, but it goes on to provide us with a litany of laws which might manifest that holiness in the society we hope to build. Among these laws, only one gets its strongest injunctions. Hocheach tochiach et amitecha. You shall surely rebuke your kin. And the rabbis of the Babylonian Talmud held a great esteem for the power of rebuke. Rabbi Yehuna Hanasi said, a person should love rebuke, for as long as there is rebuke in the world, there can be ease of mind in the world. Good and blessing can enter, and evil can depart. The Sfat Emet, Rabbi Yehuda Leib Alter of Ger, teaches that the doubling of this word rebuke, hocheach tochiach, indicates to us that even as we call out sin in the world, we recognize our own part in it. We cannot cast the burden of sin solely upon the shoulders of those we view as transgressors, and rather we must take to heart the Talmud's teaching, Kol Israel Arabim Zeh Bazeh, that all Israel is responsible for one another. This is why immediately following instructions to rebuke, the Torah reminds us, Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself. Because, as Rabbi Yossi ben Chanina said, a love without rebuke is not love at all. And therefore, in the 75th anniversary of Israeli statehood, let us commit to the process of renewing our relationship with Israel. Let us do so in accordance with these best practices of rebuke and restoration. And only then will we be able to join together in the words of Ani ve'ata. Only when we acknowledge that we cannot do this work alone. Only when we commit to seeing it through, even though it may make us uncomfortable or be exceedingly difficult at times. Even when they say, lo meshaneh, it doesn't matter, we must have the courage to say, you and I will change the world. Ani ve'ata neshaneh et ha'olam. You and I will change the world. Shabbat shalom.
And I invite you to join in the singing of Ani ve'ata, page 348. 348. Ani ve'ata, nishaneh et ha'olam. Ani ve'ata, az yavoru kvar kulam. Amru et ze kodem, lefanai lo mishaneh. Ani ve'ata, nishaneh et ha'olam. Ani ve'ata, nenaseh mehatchala. Yehiye lanu ra, ein davar ze lo nora. Amru et ze kodem, lefanai lo mishaneh. Ani ve'ata, nishaneh et ha'olam.
Last night we began the 4th week of our counting of the Omer. We're officially closer to Revelation than we are further away from redemption. This week we focus on a new aspect of God, that aspect which we call Netzach. Netzach being eternality, eternity. Tonight we count the second in this week of Netzach, Gevurah Shebenetzach, that strength which we find in eternity, and perhaps the strength which we find in that which is eternal. So if you'll join me in a blessing, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al spirat ha'olam. Yom esrim v'shtayim shehem, or esrim v'shalosh shehem arba shavuot v'shtei min ba'omer. and it's upon us to keep that eternal flame burning, which is why we rise together in body or spirit on page 282 for our life.
Alleluia, Shabbat, Adon, Avon, Matei, Dulario, Separate, Shelo, Asan, Figoye, Arazot, Velo, Sablanu, Emishverot, Adama, Shelo, San, Velkenu, Harem,
Yeshko Kavim Sharam Magia Arza Raka Sherhem Etzman Abdu Enam Yesh Anashim Shaziz Yikra Meir Kasherhem Etzman Enam Od B'Tuchenem. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we've loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, even though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us, and as we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We remember the recent passing of Harlan Sherwin, Ronald Savage, and Roger Lee Gross, as well as the yard sites of Lorelei Benetovich, Howard Ronald Dornfeld, Irving Fostout, Irving Gross, Howard S. Kaufman, Milton Lewis, Betsy Brown Ruzi, Carla Lorraine Silverman, Madeline Swindlehurst, Jane Title, Robert Zuckerman, and
Miller Kirschley.
these words of the mourner's cottage can be found on page 294.
Shabbat,
Temple Beth Bell, and we hope that you will join us tomorrow morning for a Torah study at 9 a.m. and for the Bar Mitzvah of Elijah Shepherd at 10:30. And we have tomorrow night the Brotherhood Centennial Celebration and Lindenbaum Dinner, where we'll be honoring our very own Joey Magnone as the Lindenbaum Person of the Year. And next week we have, in addition to our Shabbat service, directly following services at Oneg, the first of two performances in our series of the latest installment of our Death and Dying series, which will be a trapeze performance unlike anything you've ever seen before.
In the sanctuary.
It's sort of.
Yeah, please, it's right after services. They're waiting
You could
for
have more
us.
fun with the dome.
Yeah.
Next year. Speaking of next year, we look forward to another year when there's peace in Jerusalem. We sing Bashana Haba'ah Yerushalayim, which is in our book, I believe.
It is, and again, on page 348, just below Aniva Atav, so I hope you'll join me. Yes.
On Sunday.
Oh, Sister movie?
Yes,
What are
Sister
we watching?
Film Festival, yes.
Yeah.
Right, it's with Ed Asner. What's the name of it?
Tiger Within.
What is it?
Tiger Within.
Tiger Within, right. It's another Holocaust story, right?
Yes.
He's a
Yes,
survivor.
he's the survivor.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Followed by, Professor
Michael
Wright.
Right. Okay. And that's at 2 o'clock, correct?
Starts at 2.
The film is at 2. And that's
Snacks.
free of charge, and snacks.
And snacks.
And
Yeah,
snacks.
good snacks.
Sold.
Right. Okay. Stephen, thank you. Bashana habaa, Beshem Rab Merkesed v'nisbor Tziporim nodedot. ילדים בחופשה, ישחקו תופסת בין הבית לבין השדות. עוד תראה, גם הטוב יהיה, בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה, גם הטוב יהיה, בשנה הבאה. Last verse. בשנה הבאה נפרוס כפות ידיים מול האור הניגר הלבן. ענפה לבנה תפרוס לעוד כנפיים והשמש תזרח בתוכן. עוד תראה גם הטוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה גם הטוב יהיה בשנה הבאה.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Seeing you.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
while.
it's been a while, yeah. Yeah, what have you been up to?
Still working, still paying off. Nothing. What?
Stay safe at the distribution center.
Yeah.
Good.
Nightmare is I have a manager right now who's never worked in the department, so she doesn't know how a clue of how
You
everything.
should be the manager. You apply for the manager? No, you don't.
No, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, that is true.
You give me the people who are gonna do their job. I'll work.
You really don't manage them, yeah. Hi, Rabbi. You look great.
Shabbos.
You,
Nice to see you.
you always say the right things.
Oh, I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
no, it's true. You really do. You really are hitting out of the ballpark.
I'm glad you found me.
I did. Yeah.
And I turn off our thing when I'm
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, there were so many things to write. So
How's it going, Ron?
Not bad at all.
Good. Patricia, Ron? Patricia?
Mucho gusto. Nice to meet you, Patricia.